one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it. Oh, flag of mine. Here's to the green of it. Young men and women shall dream of it. Face shots and shells for it. Maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it. Colors bright and pole of it. Pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God for giving it this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem.
In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sonships of millions and trillions of years, he who made time the seat of the universe. It's known among ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun Ra and Atum. Among the Hebrews is Ansel, Yahweh, and Elohim. Among the Christians is Lord, God, and Jehovah. Among the Muslims in the Islamic world is Allah, the one God. Among the Rastafarians is Jah, Rastafari. Among the Yoruba tribe is Olodumare, Obatala, many other Orisha gods. I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one Almighty God. And it's to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, those children, those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade out at Lost 13 tribe, born here in North America, and that we are the living Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you all in the ancient but yet holy words of peace in the languages of our Father. Hotel, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Baragani, Alafia, and Ashe. All many different greetings and salutations of peace in many different languages of our fathers. I greet you in peace. Welcome to Potomac Nation, located at 616 East on 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois. 1 block east of St. Lawrence. Come on out today. Where do I start? This is the month of March. There are many things happening from a spiritual perspective. One, that yesterday was the first day of Ramadan for over more than 1 million or so, probably 1 billion Muslims on the face of the planet. This is the Ramadan of the Orthodox Islamic world. But also we have the Nation of Islam under Minister Louis Farrakhan practicing Ramadan along with the Orthodox Muslims of the world. Temple of Mercy Association, we still practice Ramadan in December. I'm not trying to throw any shade on no one, but I just want to make it very clear as why we still do the one in December when the Nation of Islam do theirs now with Orthodox Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad created Ramadan for us in December for one major purpose, many other reasons, because you get the same benefits. But one of the main reasons why he created it in December was because of Christmas. And he wanted the Muslims in the nation to not celebrate that pagan holiday. And so he felt, or was inspired by the Creator, to put Ramadan in December and have the brothers and sisters to fast from sundown to sundown and don't drink liquids or eat anything in order to keep us from celebrating and participating in what was called and still is called the holiday called Christmas. We did not want to recognize Satan's claws, and we knew that Yeshua was not born in December. Seeing that the Nation of Islam has elevated and has grown and has gotten to a point where they don't need to be reminded not to celebrate Christmas. And so they went on to attach themselves with Orthodox Islam in the spirit of unity, that they would be one with that group. Me, or Toma, we don't believe that our people, Black people in America, have actually overcome Christmas. That being the fact, I figured somebody still needs to hold Ramadan in December so that our brothers and sisters can be reminded that that is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad set up for us as a people in order to get us out of that mode, in order to get us out of fighting and arguing and whatever about who didn't get a gift and what happened to my gift, and somebody feeling bad because they didn't get no gifts at all, somebody in foster care or homeless didn't get a gift, and all that old stuff like that. Black people, we still need to fight to be independent of pagan holidays. And so the Temple of Mercy will continue to do Ramadan in December. I salute all the Muslims that are doing it in March, but do you think? All right. So another thing in the month of March is the prescribed readings of the Temple of Mercy Association. Our prescribed readings for the month of March happens to be the Holy Bible. For the month of March, as well as April, Temple of Mercy members study and read the Bible, the Holy Bible, the King James Version of the Bible. And our goal is to be done read the whole entire Bible from front to back by the end of April. We've been doing this for over 10 years, 12 years or so. So some of us are used to it and some of us that are new are not. Our goal is that we would be well versed in the Bible and in the Quran, simply because the majority of our people are either Christian or Muslim. The majority of our people are either Christian or Muslim. We even got some of our people who've never been to church in their life. And they'll tell you in a moment's notice, if you try to make them be other than Christian, they'll say, I was born a Christian, I'm gonna die a Christian. And they'll say, my mama was a Christian. My grandparents were Christian. So they think that that makes them Christian out of that. So the majority of our people are under one of those two major religions. Now, we do have a few that practice the Europe, Orisha, priests and whatnot. I had a good chance to be a part of that group. I had a band that I was in called Sound Therapy, and the leader of the band was an Orisha priest, and he used to have us wear all white. He was the one that told me the God that I resonate, that comes through me, it's called Obatala, and he wore all white. And I went and studied that. So the Temple of Mercy is an all-inclusive Black conscious righteous movement. We say all-inclusive because first, our mission and our assignment is to uplift Black people here in the hellholes of North America. And in doing so, we use the Bible and the Quran as tools, right? Tools that we use to draw our people, bring them to God through the books that they say that they are involved in, through the religion that they say that they are a part of. Hopefully to bring them into a more all-inclusive understanding. We study all the different religions, but yet at the same time, I have to say this, because I had a lot of people say, they say they're all-inclusive, but when we come in, we can't stay whatever they became, or whatever they came in to be. And I always give them the thing about Bruce Lee. I said Bruce Lee started out with Wing Chun, and that was the art, Wing Chun. You started out as whatever your religion was when you came in here, Buddhist and whatever. I said Bruce Lee decided to study boxing, fencing, karate, hapkido, other forms of kung fu, sword fighting. He did fencing. You name it, wrestling, all of it, and combine it into one. Well, he would be crazy to be running around still saying that's Wing Chun, because it's not anymore. It is something totally different, and he named it Jeet Kune Do. I haven't named what we do, but I know it's all inclusive. And I know once you buy into the truth of that teaching, whatever you came in as, you're not that anymore. How can you be if you bought into the teachings that we're all inclusive? As a matter of fact, whether you know it or not, what we teach free you. Because you come in bound to a religion that God did not make. God never made religion. But he did say, obey him. He did say, submit your will to do his will. But he didn't say, become a Christian. He didn't say, become a Muslim. Now, in name alone, you can be Christian. By its defining principles. What is the defining principle of a Christian? To be Christ-like. So if that's your goal and your objective is to be Christ-like, then you may not be named a Christian, but you can go by that definition because you're doing what the work of it is. What about a Muslim? People of peace. Are you striving to be a person of peace? Then you can say, yes, I am Muslim by definition. What about any other religion? See, in tone, we want to be people of peace. Islam means those who submit their will to the will of God. We want to submit our will to the will of God. And that's what we fight hard to do. Bend our will to the will of God. And I want those who are Muslims, and you know your Quran, but the Quran says, whether you turn your face to the east to pray, or to the west, or to the north, or to the south, I, Allah, am everywhere, and it doesn't matter. I was paraphrasing, but you can look it up and see that it's in there. I've been reading the Quran for over 10, 15 years. We read the whole Quran in the month of December every year. So I know it's in there. And that's how we think, that oneness understand, that it doesn't matter. God is everywhere. Why do you have to look to the east? We don't believe in praying to a Kaaba. We don't believe in praying to the Middle East over in Israel and whatnot. We believe that the creator that we serve is within and without at the same time. Why do we choose the King James Version of the Bible? Because in 1990, we discovered that they were going to change and alter the Bible. And that the Pope at that time had made a deal with Israel. Y'all didn't know this. If y'all forgot, look it up. Made a deal with Israel that they were going to take out every part in that Bible that made Jews look bad. And so they made that deal, and all of a sudden, there was these many versions coming out. There are about 10 different versions of the Bible right now. And each one is watered down more and more and more. And they slowly easing out anything where, especially, you know, there's a part in Revelation said there are some people who call themselves Jews and are not. But they are of the synagogue of Satan. You think they want to keep that in there? No, they don't want that in there. That's straight calling them Satan. And so you're going to look at some of the new versions, and it might be gone already. I haven't looked at them, but you all check them. So I had told members of the temple, I said, get your King James Version. Even though King James didn't read it, and King James was everything but a child of God, but because he was the king, when he put his signature on it, it's done. He wasn't even part of the 50 scholars that translated. See, but we told members of the temple, keep this King James Version. This is one of the old ones that we had. Said, put it in the safe deposit box if you have to. Because years later, you're going to see the difference in how strong this interpretation of the Bible is to the little watered down versions that we be reading every day. They can't even fool me if I'm listening to a lecture on YouTube. I could tell right away that that's not the King James Version. Ken might be reading something to me. I said, is that the King James Version? He said, oh, no. I said, I know. Can't fool me. So if anybody got any questions, I'm not uplifting King James. He didn't like black people, so I don't need to be trying to uplift King James to like us, because I don't like him either. But it's really a miracle how God can bring a pure message through an imperfect vehicle. I'll say that again. It's almost like a miracle to watch and see how God can send a pure message through an unclean vehicle. What do I mean by that? In general, everyone is born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So that means even me. God would bring a pure message through me, but yet this is an imperfect vehicle. That's a miracle. But then in the Holy Quran, it helps show you what that's all about. And this mentions how God can bring some pure milk through a cow between dung and urine. Comes a pure milk. Same way there's a pure message that can come through an imperfect vehicle. We have all sinned and fallen short, but those are the miracles of Allah. Let me tell you a little history of this King James Version of the Bible. It actually was translated from another Bible. Oh, somebody's shaking their head. You know what it was called, that Bible? Oh, but you do know about it. It was translated from another Bible. Hey, y'all, I'm talking to one of them. That's all. It's called the Bishop's Bible. All right, it's an English edition of the Bible, which was produced under the authority of the established Church of England, basically Catholic. And it was in 1568. It was revised in 1572. And a 1602 edition was prescribed as the base text for the King James Version that was completed in 1611. So the first printing of the King James Bible originally had 80 books, not 66. That was in 1609. In 1611, the King James was revised and printed all 80 books. But then later on in 1885, they took out the Apocrypha, which was officially removed in 1885, leaving only 66 books. Now, the different scholars included different apocryphal books in their Bible translations before the official list we have today, which was ratified by several Roman Catholic councils and appeared in the King James Bible. I have a list of all of those books right here if y'all ever want, but you can also do what I did, Google it. Now, the reason I read that is because I wanted to say something about the Roman Catholic Church. That's why I read that. One of the things is that, you know, it says Roman. And we know the Roman Empire fell, but there's still a place called Rome. And here's a church, Catholic church, from which all the other religions actually sprang from. The Catholic Church. But yet, today, the Pope still is the only one who they would look at and say what he changes in the Bible is authentic, because no other person has that authority in the world to change anything out of this book and replace it with something else. That's why they use the term revised, as opposed to, right, as opposed to saying they actually took something out and changed it. So I just wanted to share that because I don't want people to think that because we read the Bible and Quran, we caught up in it, like one of those Christians or Muslims. That's okay. That's your thing. But we understand that this book went through a printing press. all these pages were printed out and put together in this nice little form. Same thing happened to the Holy Quran. It is not the words on ink that's the most important. What's the most important? Can you take those words, transform them into something that you can live with, place it in your heart, and then it become a part of you? Because the true book is you. The true book was always you. Adam and Eve didn't have a book of names. Do they still do a book of names to name babies? I don't know. I used to see that years ago. It's online?
Yeah.
I thought we just do the silverware in the air, whatever.
No, that was the Chinese. Chinese threw silverware in the air. That's a joke. And when they fall out of here, ting chong. That's a joke, though. Somebody in the audience did it. Ain't my joke. All right. But Adam and Eve didn't have a book to say elephant and giraffe and whatever, because they were the book. They had direct connection to the ether. They had direct connection to the universe and its circuitry and how it's together, because see, their umbilical cord was not here, it was here. That's why they didn't have a navel. They had a spiritual umbilical cord that was connected to the ether. And they could receive all the knowledge of the universe and all the knowledge of what was on the planet. And so whatever they said that came out of their mouth, that's what it was. They were smaller versions of the Creator himself. So they were creators. But then when it got cut off, because what? They became aware of this material world and material things and the pleasures that the body can have. And that lowered their conscious level to what they call your lower self. So today, we're constantly fighting to be free of our lower self and to set back on our throne right here in heaven again. Y'all see what heaven is? Right here again. I know y'all looking to go up there somewhere on a cloud, and that cloud ain't gonna get outside of Earth's atmosphere. I'm telling you that right now. So that should give you a hint. If that cloud ain't going to get outside of Earth's atmosphere, you must be on some kind of ship. That's going to take you a little bit higher to get you to a place called heaven, which is nothing but above the Earth's atmosphere, that you will be there for 1,000 years, which is only one day. Let me read this to you, and then I'm through. You know I go an hour now. We don't do 30 minutes, so that's why I'm taking my time. Another book that we're in is called Black Blue Science. The Creator used me to work with individuals and people that he inspires to come into my presence and share with me what God might have said and showed them. And I would say, man, that'll work. That'll fit in with Toma. The opening, I start with that. Our first representative of Toma, Ezekiel Kepler, came up with that opening, believe it or not. And we looked at it and went over it, and I looked at it and helped him with certain parts of it and all. But the basic idea of it was Ezekiel Kepler. And it was introduced to Toma as our opening. See, I'm not this high and mighty person that if you bring something to the temple, if it didn't come from me, I'm not going to accept it, I'll throw it away. I don't do that. If it's something that fits and works and will save and help our people, that is what we'll use. And so the brother that bought this book to me, it was an electronic book at the time, was Brother Tahar Shakur. As a matter of fact, before I introduced it to the temple, it took me a year to work on that book. I don't just bring any book or any idea that you bring to me and just throw it at the members. Because like the Bible said, I agree, I'm the good shepherd. And I give up my life for my membership. That means you don't walk up to me and say, this book you need to get to the temple, and I ain't read it. He's going to give it to you? I don't know what you get. You come and bring me some other scripts somewhere, people involve me in all kinds of stuff. 5% Nation, all me stuff. Members who were part of the 5% Nation got mad at me because I wouldn't drop everything and make the temple be under the 5% Nation. Ben Ami, his people gave me every book that Ben Ami has from the Kingdom of God under what's his name? I just said his name. Ben Ami did. And I read all of the books, but only one book we decided to use, which was God, the Black Man, and Truth. So all of this became part of our prescribed readings. Why? So we can be armed with the stuff that we need in order to get our people. So that our people can come in, and after they get the load off of their back, they can go out and reach out and help somebody else with the knowledge that we have. You stay with us 1 year and go through all of those prescribed readings, and I promise you, you won't be that same person you was when you came in the door. Do I have any witnesses? Amen. That's all right. Y'all can do this for me too. Thank you. So now, and I give credit to whom credit is due, but don't expect me to say it every time I come up, because I got some people around me who, if they do something for the temple, if I don't mention it every Sunday or every week, something wrong with me or whatever, I don't do that. You do something new, and I'll talk about you again. That's just how I am. I ain't got time to keep on talking about your one leg. So now, here's a summary of this book, Black New Science. Why did I want to start with that? I mentioned the summary last year when I did this, but we studied the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because we believe he is the major prophet that God sent into the world for the 20th century. You would say, you mean over Marcus Garvey? Yes. You mean over that? Yes. He's the quintessential person of God sent to this planet for the 20th century. A lot of people would like to probably argue with me on it. But here's a man who spoke of stuff in the 60s that's coming to pass right now. In his book, Message to the Black Man, in his book, The Fall of America, that he said all of this in 1963 and 64. And if you read those books right now, it's happening right now. You tell me that ain't the person that you need to study. And so we're not practicing Muslims, but, you know, we study the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we study the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And one of our major reasons for doing it is because of their economic plan for Black people. Both of them have an economic plan that if we get on those plans, we will be off the economic bottom overnight. But those plans agitate the enemy. To be honest with you, you can run around all day talking economics and having economic workshops, and all these people that I be listening to, motivational speakers, they ain't upset no apple cart. They ain't upset nothing. Marcus Garvey knows that if we're going to get off the economic bottom, we're going to have to agitate somebody who have constantly lived off our condition. They make money off of our current condition. Imagine telling them to give that up. You making over $1 billion a year by us being in the condition that we're in, and you won't just give it up? No way. And that's why we created something years ago called Operation Snatch Back. Not give back, not buy back, snatch it back. Because see, if we're going to be free, and I mean free from the clutches of an oppressor that's holding us down, that no matter what, our position on this world, in this world, don't change with them. One time it was when they spoke about different people in their position as an ethnicity, they would say white and black, white, black, Hispanic, and others. How is it that our position moves further down instead of staying where it's at. So somebody in word is keeping us where we are. How come since I was born, we've been 13% of the population, and today it's still what? 13, they say. We know it's not. But that's what they put on paper. That we are 13% of the population. Like we ain't grew an inch. Like we ain't had no babies. So if we're going to get off the economic bottom, if we're going to get off of any other level that we don't belong on as a people, and I know we don't, because truthfully, our heritage is the planet. This is what we inherited. This is what God gave us. This is why I didn't use the term Black History at all last month. This is why we throw something called the Black Heritage Banquet. Because we have something that is truthfully ours that we don't even own or run. Only because we are afraid to take it back. Sorry, y'all, but Putin wants Ukraine. You thought he was going to sit down and negotiate for it? He thought he was going to make some amends, and Zelensky was going to just say, oh, okay, move out. What's his name? Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. You think he could have sent in a 5-day notice and said, y'all, you know, God said this is ours, and you got 5 days to to get on the battle here, you know. And they was going to just leave, wouldn't they? No, that didn't happen like that. Now, in fact, 2 of his boys went in and came back scared as I don't know what time. The giants up in there. We ain't going to be able to get it. Yeah. What we got to do to get out of our predicament is like fighting the giant. Like fighting Goliath. See, that little bitty dude named Elon Musk, I'm taller than him. He's a giant. Did y'all know that? Here's a man that got, what, I think he's the richest in the world, they say. They say, they mouth. Just saying, he may not be. But he's happy as I don't know what, because most of the rich people could not rule the president or be nowhere in the White House. But now here's a man who almost more than half of his staff are billionaires. When they sit down and have a meeting, do you think they're thinking about Black people? About nobody but themselves. If this is the best chance we ever had in 4 years to chart an independent course and do it for self. It's the best chance we got, but it's got to be planned. It has to have strategy. You have to sit down and look at our situation, look at our condition, listen to the statistics that deals with us economically and health-wise and all of that, and then begin to move on that ourselves. Something as simple as what the Black Panther Party did. They saw a situation, they saw kids going to school and they was coming from poverty-stricken homes and they were hungry and they were taking them, they were going to school and they were learning, but they were hungry. They said, okay, we're going to start feeding breakfast to the youth when they on their way to school. Just get here before school started, you can eat. Oh, that just filled up everything. People was taking their kids up. They had to open up other places. Then because they opened up other places where they can come and eat, they started opening up what you call a clinic. Right? Talking to nurses and whatnot, Black nurses and whatnot, asking them, can you donate some of your time to, look at our children and see what they need, Little small things. Little small things. But those small things got the attention of the enemy. And they said, we can't make money off of that. You ain't making no money off of that. We used to play a game called policy, numbers, remember? They said, we can't make money off of that. You ain't making money off of that. It became what? Lottery. So if you notice, everything a black man does and everything a black man or woman makes, if they can't have it, and when I mean have it, I mean make it as their own, they're going to make sure nobody knows who did it. But now, because of social media, the truth is coming out. And they're seeing that 99% of all inventions on this planet, somebody black has something to do with it. I don't care what it was, the chair, the book, the computer, the what is this, the radio, the phone, you name it, everything. So wouldn't that show you that if we are that people that a higher power uses to help keep the earth functioning on every level, what does that tell you? Don't you know a man and a woman married in a house? Don't you know that if somebody came and they didn't, case the joint first and ran in there to rob them or whatever, they'll bump into stuff, bump into walls and this and that, because why? The owner know their house. What am I saying about us in the earth? I know some people who move furniture around in their house. You know people like that at least once a year.
Spring cleaning. That's what they do. Change around.
And you just didn't know that the elders of that house understood that everybody ain't your friend. You had all this company.
Thanksgiving.
And they casing the joint. And New Year's Day, the couch over there, that was by the window. Television over by the window now. That's it. So when you talking to your friends and you ready to go and bribe your other friend, it ain't where it was, where you thought it was going to be. Oh, am I giving some kind of technique how we got to be one step ahead of this enemy? Let me go back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, if you can control your appetite, you can control any other desire. And that if you understood every letter, shape, sound, numerical value, and its esoteric meaning, you would tap into the minds of the scientists of the world. Because that's all they are. The 24 elders are the 24 scientists. If you look at Revelation, they pouring out vials. You don't see that. What do you think those mean? Test tubes. You're talking about scientific war going on in Revelation. But I know everybody wants to see these beings with these funny looking heads and horns and whatever else. But I know a guy went crazy believing it was going to be just like that. He just went straight crazy in Crazy House now. That's the guy that Omari had to beat down because he was standing in the middle of the floor looking crazy. But anyway, Black Root Science helped prove Elijah Muhammad's teaching when he said that the earth was 66 trillion years old. He helped prove that teaching to be true because it left a lot out. It left questions that I had that weren't answered. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so what was the earth desolate for trillions of years before real life was on the planet? And why would God create something that sit there for 8 trillion years before something lived on it? Then I come to find out that Adam and Eve weren't really the first on this planet. I will teach it to you like that if you from the Bible, but I'm hoping that you could be wise enough to walk with me. I think that's what my boy said, wasn't it? He ain't smart. So we found out that Elijah Muhammad was right when he said that we, Black people, came with the earth. That means you can't dig up nothing and say, oh, this is it. They're these many years old. Every time you dig up another body or whatever, it's even older than that. And they keep going and it's older than that. That's because you don't have a one-day birth rate of Black people. Can't have it. So this guy in Black Root Science who studied a lot of different religions and whatnot, And he came from a tribe in Africa called the Botswana tribe. And so he took some of those teachings that he grew up in, put it together with Yahweh Elijah Muhammad's teachings and Imam Isa, Yahweh ben Yahweh, you name it, just basically all those different teachers that were out at that time. And he has this gift of the spirit of oneness where you could take all of that and make it into one. It's a little gift that God gave me too. That's how I recognized his. And this is what he came up with. Our Earth and solar system were created 78 trillion years ago. Now, when you get past the white man's understanding, which he only lives in millions and just recently able to see into billions, but he can't see into trillions. And so when he telling you about something in space, after billions, he go into light years. You don't say that galaxy is X amount of trillion years somewhere. They say, no, these many light years. Because they draw a blank when they go into trillions. And so they can't follow us there. So why would you get the argument about whether it was 68 trillion, 60 trillion, 70 trillion, while we in the trillions operating? It could be anything we wanted to be. Just remove a few zeros and place some zeros where you want them. I know I sound crazy, boy, but y'all gonna understand what I'm saying one day. You take a 6 and you put a 0 by it. What is that? 60. It only multiplies in your mind, and then you make the thing move, and it multiplies up to whatever equals to 60. You put another 0 there, 600. And you put as many zeros as you want to. And then certain other ethnicity groups can't go past a certain amount of zeros. Move the zeros and it's back to 6. God gave us the ability to move and place zeros where they belong. That's our ability. It's easy. I had one day I'm gonna show y'all how to do it. So 6 days, 7 days, put zeros there. What is a zero?
Nothing.
Zero is a cycle. Another word for it, circle. Another word for it, cipher. Still the same thing, no matter what I call it, is. It's one cycle, it's a circle. So now we say the earth, not the earth, but they say the universe and the earth repeats itself every 25,000 years. So it's a 25,000 year cycle. But yet at the same time, it's every 25 years. At the same time, it's every 25 days. When you're a God, see, you can handle that kind of math. And you know what you're doing, but the people won't know. Unless they're God-minded too. I ain't saying let's say God's. I said God-minded. I understand what I'm saying. How much time we got in?
10 minutes.
All right. You know, I can keep it going. I don't have a problem with that. As soon as the earth was ready, all right, created 78 trillion years ago, the earth was ready. 144,000 ancestors came from another star system. Let's say 144,000 scientists came from another star system. That star was called Sirius. You have Sirius A, Sirius B. All right? It was worshipped by the Dogons. This 144,000 ancestors inhabited the earth after preparing it by seeding it with plant and animal life. Scientists. That's who was in the beginning, doing all that stuff for them 6 days. Those were scientists. All right? About 7,000 years after their arrival. And each one of those scientists lived to be 7,000 years old. Their population increased from 144,000 to 1,000,000,008,000,000. This number is the most sacred number in creation. It's the total number of original people who inhabited the earth of our universe countless trillions of years ago. Thus, every earth inhabited thereafter keeps this number as their final and stable population. So it says that it was determined to be the ideal number of people that can inhabit a planet the size of Earth and live in complete comfort without imposing on each other, or without imposing on the natural resources, without imposing on the animals and the plants. It enables complete freedom of movement for all life on the planet. And this, brothers and sisters, is essential for peace, prosperity, and spiritual growth. You think we got more than 1 billion, 8 million people on the planet right now? I think we do. And they say it's crowded, don't they?
Oh, you mean people.
Yeah, on the planet, not us, it's on the planet. You're talking about the whole planet.
8.2
8.2 what?
billion.
Billion. So according to what he just gave us, the earth is overcrowded. And it shows because we have interfered with everything that made everything a complete comfort. We've imposed on the animals, haven't we? We've imposed on the plants. We've imposed on all the natural resources. And when I say we this time, brothers and sisters, let me be clear. I'm talking about the white man. I'm talking about the one that's ruling the planet, our children. They've imposed on almost every one of these resources. And I mean, they've overdone it to the point that they cause earthquakes because they don't know how to stop doing what they do. Earth is a living entity. When you dig for oil, they look for a vein. The earth is a living entity. They hit that vein like you hit your artery, and what happens? Squirts up. You're draining the earth of its blood. They're digging deep into the ground for coal and other little things, oil and you name it. Somebody mentioned cobalt. I don't even know what it is, but some kind of mineral. In the place called Congo in Africa, it's the most minerally rich part of Africa. They got it everywhere else, but it's the most minerally rich part of Africa, gold and other things. Right now, as we speak, the killing that's going on over there makes the killing in Palestine, Israel, and Ukraine look like a kindergarten toy factory. But you don't hear about it. You haven't heard about it. It's not on mainstream media. But as we speak, somebody dies. But they don't care what happens to Africa. Trump, President Trump, he's putting sanctions on South Africa. Yeah, President Trump. It's not a slip of the word. And he said it's because of the racist moves that they're making in South Africa.
But that's where boy Elon from.
I told Facebook Elon Musk was an African American. Most of them, what? That's why I warned you, don't just be African American, be Black African American. He can't be that. But they don't want to use Black. But if you use Black in anything that we do, we'll get our benefits. But if you don't put the Black in front of it, another ethnic group gonna get the benefit. I don't care what it is, Black Hebrew, Black African American, whatever you would put Black there. If you're just a Hebrew, the white one's gonna get it. If you're just a Christian, the white one's gonna get it. If you're just Islamic, the white one's gonna get it. White all of that. If you don't put Black in front of that, you're not gonna get your just due. Yeah. So you wanna act like something wrong with Black. You don't want to claim the essence of what Black is so that you can get the power that God gave you from the day you was put on the planet. The first beings on this planet was created out of the dark matter of space itself, 68 or 78 trillion years ago. and shaped and formed and placed on planet Earth, blacker than black, blacker than the blackest midnight, blacker than anything black that you ever did see. They were black. Blacker than when you close your eyes. Black is black. So black you could probably feel black in the room.
That's a good feeling too, by the way.
And by him creating that group from the dark matter of space, imagine what God really did. When you think about this, the dark matter in space in itself that's expanding is part of God's mind. So he created some beings with his mind on the same level that he thinks on. But these beings came as a committee or what y'all call it when y'all got a group of people? Y'all facilitating a body of, what you call it? Board members or whatever.
Organization.
They weren't a family. They were part of a council. 24 of them. And they got here, but they couldn't agree on how they were going to replenish the earth. This ain't black and science, y'all. I done passed them up. Can't even think on that level. And one of them said, I want to make a race of people with curly hair, fat nose, real dark. They say, no, we're not going to do that, especially that curly hair stuff and all, because they had straight hair. Y'all didn't know that. He said, okay, well, I'll do it myself. He went off in the jungle and he created a group that their hair was so coarse that the sun couldn't fry their brain, that their nose was so flat that it created a cooling system when they breathed the air in. Not them little skinny noses where ain't no air get in. Thank you. Another one said, I want to create a race that is opposite of us, but real light skin and pale. They said, no, we ain't gonna do that either. He got mad, went on an island called Pilar and created white people. Took him 400 years to do it. Then another one came to the table and he said, I just wanna, I forgot what he wanted to do. Something, you gotta read the message to the black man. He got mad at all of them and said, I'll just blow up the world. And he went and got some dynamite that he found and placed it in a strategic part of the planet and set off the explosion and shot off a part of the earth that went up into the sky and flipped like this, and all the water came back to the earth, and then it sat out there and it didn't move, and the dark side of it is hollow like this, and you'll never see it, and it's called the moon. All you see is the backside of it. Thank you. Make a long story short, all of them did so much that one of them set off a nuclear bomb and it decimated everything on the surface of the earth. And now you come to a part in the Bible that says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was void. Darkness was on the face of the earth, or confusion or whatever. But the key word, because it's time for me to go, is key word in that part of Genesis said, replenish the earth. You can't redo nothing unless something was done already. And so I just told you what was done before in the beginning. And so they had to go and the word plenish meaning plenty. Replenty. Do again and do plenty of it. And that's what those scientists, it was a family now. They had to send a family because a family worked a little bit better together than a committee. See, Brother Hightower say, what's a camel? I said, Brother Hightower, don't play with me. A camel is an old, ugly animal with some messed up feet, a messed up nose, and a hump on his back. He said, yeah. He said it was supposed to have been a horse, but it was made that way by a committee. So God sent the family. And the rest of it's in your Bible in the beginning. Thank you all for listening. Pick up your book, Black Roots Science. Pick up your Bible with Toma. And come on by and study this Bible with us.